The first time I met Dr. Talbot, it's unusual, but he slapped me. And approximately 26 years after that, the first time my son met Dr. Talbot, he slapped him too.
For almost 40 years, Dr. Dudley Talbot introduced thousands of newborns to the harsh realities of a cruel world. But it all really began in a little town in southwest Arkansas, where a 14-year-old boy got introduced to the harsh realities of small-town medicine.
And he would go and help out, and the doctor would have him vaccinate the kids and just learn how to do shots. One day, an African-American man came in. He'd had a horrible accident, and the saw in the sawmill had gone right through his hand. So Daddy had to witness this. There was only one nurse, and she helped the doctor, and Daddy had to apply the ether. He saw that hand after the gory affair, just fall into the trash can, and it made such an impression on him, like, do I really want to do this type of a thing? It made him really think, there's got to be a better way. This man needed his hand and to live, and maybe he could make a difference.
He went to the University of Arkansas, was elected drum major, then went to medical school at Tulane.
He said, well, I think that they need a little help out at the band. Would you mind coming out and helping them? I said, oh, yes, if you want me to do that, I'll be glad to do it. So for 2 years, I was drum major of the Tulane band, as well as trying to be a doctor, too, trying to study medicine, too.
Incredibly, he graduated, and at age 24 became a doctor. In 1939, he delivered his first baby. In 1941, just before Pearl Harbor, he married Gwendolyn. As the war begins to wind down in 1944, Dr. Talbot sets up practice in Shreveport, and life gets busy.
I'd have to work sometimes night and day, and so I'd always not get a chance to see my children as much as I want to. So what we do, we'd take off the month of August and we'd take a trip.
Every year, he would take his family on a vacation, and so we got to know our father. And he wanted to be with his children. He had 2 weeks off, and he was with his children.
Even though he would spend like several days away, sometimes being at the hospital, he always, when he came home, always had time to help with a math problem or read us a story or whatever. Just a loving dad.
Sleigh bells ring, are you listening?
I can recall one time, there were 3 Christmases in a row that I had a delivery every Christmas morning. And my wife would have to hold the kids back. We had a 2-story home at the time, and they'd have to hold it. I can see them now standing at the stairway, waiting till Daddy got home so they could play Santa Claus.
Walking in the winter wonderland.
Daddy loves a good cigar, and I think part of his being an OBGYN was to pass out those cigars. And when I smell a cigar today, I don't think, ooh, a cigar or smoke. I think, that has many memories of a wonderful father.
Everyone's heard about the baby boom, 76 million Americans born between 1946 and 1964. A little known fact, though, is that between Dr. Talbot and Dr. Tom Glass, his partner for all those years, they delivered most of those babies.
When I stopped counting, I delivered in the neighborhood of a little over 6,000.
We found that one of the things that you have when you go out with Dudley and Gwen on social occasions, you always have to allow a little extra time for people to stop and visit with him. Women and men of all ages stop him and say, you delivered me, Dr. Talbot, you remember you delivered my children, you delivered my grandchildren.
Dr. Talbot's a very unique individual. He represents, in my view, everything that the American dream represents, and only in America can you do what he has done, and that is go to medical school, do a good job for a lot of people, and have the opportunity to enjoy life the way he does, and boy does he enjoy life.
He's one of the upbeat people. He likes to go out, he likes to have fun in moderation. He loves a good cigar, a great drink, a wonderful joke.
You go to dinner and he wants to know where we're headed next, and
he still wants to go to every wedding, every graduation, every party. He hasn't changed, I don't think at all. I think he's had to slow down a little bit, which he does not like.
How many Shreveporters do you know who have a castle in Ireland and a wonderful wine named after their forebears? Well, Dudley does. And how many doctors in Shreveport are members of the British Royal Academy of Physicians and Surgeons and make every effort to attend their meetings in London? Yep, Dudley does. He's quite a special person.
He just loves people, and it just shows forth in his life. I mean, he is an expression of what's important, and that's giving and caring, and it's a genuine caring. You know, he has a genuine quality about him, and you're very comfortable in his presence. And even now, at my age, if I'm feeling bad or something, if I go and have a hug with Daddy, I'm better.
Just an honorable man, a man of integrity. I've been very blessed, very, very blessed to have him as a father.
Dudley views his glass of life as always full, never empty. I read once that a poet penned the words that friends are flowers in your garden of life. And I would have to say that Dudley Talbot is truly one of the most beautiful flowers in my garden of life.
You know, I don't know if they're words, but I'm a very lucky person to have been his daughter.
I love you, Dad.
I tried to educate my children real good and brought them up in the right way to go. And I guess I think time will only tell, you know, what one of the sayings about when the great commander comes to write against your name, he won't write that you won or lost, but how you played the game. Did you play it fairly? Did you play it right? Did you try to play it honestly? So forth.